Hi, I'm Bobby, and in today's video I'm going to be discussing series that I want to finish. So these are books that I've either read one or two books from the series and I just want to complete them. There are 6 books on this list, so let's get started. The first series is a really popular one, and that is the Grishaverse by Leigh Bardugo. I read the first book, Shadow and Bone, at the beginning of 2020 and I enjoyed it. I don't think it was as good as hype makes it seem, but I've heard that the spin-off series is much better. The spin-off series is Six of Crows. The spin-off series is a duology, which is I think it's about a heist. I don't know a lot about it, but I think it's like general opinion that it is better than the original series. But I read this book and I really want to read the next couple. It has been a few months since I've read this book and I'm sort of starting to forget what happened, so I'm thinking I'm just gonna try reading it quite soon, because then hopefully I'll remember things a lot more easily. So in this book we follow a girl called Alina who is travelling through the Shadowfold on a boat and is basically full of loads of monsters, and she discovers she has like the power of the sun or something. This is supposed to be like a really revered power because no one's had it in years. So basically she goes to this place where she is trained up and learns how to use her powers. It's kind of a magic school setting and it was great fun while I was reading it, and it wasn't like a particularly difficult read because it's a young adult. So I enjoyed it. It was quite relaxing and I really want to just get to the next 2 books in the series, which are, I believe, Siege and Storm and Ruin and Rising. And it really bothers me that the other 2 books are alliterative and this one isn't. What's up with that? The second series that I want to complete is the Caraval Trilogy. This is the 3rd and final book, finale. The first 2 books, Caraval and Legendary, I've read within the past few years. I don't really remember when I read them, and I don't remember a lot of detail about them. But basically, in the first book, there's this kind of carnival called Caraval, which is run by a man called Legend, and it's like an invite-only thing. We follow Scarlet and her younger sister Donatella as they go to Caraval to try and escape their abusive father, I believe it was, and an arranged marriage. Something like that. So this carnival is like full of loads of mystery and magic, and there's loads of really weird things going on there, and it's like it's difficult to tell what's real, what isn't. And I don't really remember the details of the story, but I think they're saying throughout the whole book that remember, it's only a game. Then in the second book, they went back, and I can't remember why, and I can't really remember what happened. And now we're into the 3rd book, and I don't know what's going to happen. I don't really remember the first 2 books. I might have to like I might have to search online for something. I pre-ordered this book. I think it came out last year, maybe? I don't know, time's sort of warped in my head now. But I've had this book a really long time and I've just never got to it. It's just one of those ones that I just want to tick off my list so I can say I've completed that series and then I don't really have to look at it again. It was a fun series, but it's definitely like young adult. It's not the most enthralling story I've ever read. It was intriguing at the time, but I'm thinking I've read so many more books since then and I just want to complete the series so I can say I can complete the series. The 3rd series that I'd like to complete is one I've been listening to on audiobook, and that is the Chronicles of Narnia. So far I have listened to The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, The Magician's Nephew, The Horse and His Boy, and I'm currently about halfway through Prince Caspian. But I've been halfway through it for a couple of months now. I'm quite enjoying this series. Like, I know it's aimed at children, but it wasn't a series that I read as a child, so I'm finding it quite intriguing. Like, yeah, I'm finding it enjoyable. So I am enjoying it because it's quite new to me. So I never read this series when I was a child, but I do have vague memories of watching the first movie. I don't think I enjoyed it. I don't know. I don't really remember it. So because these are children's books, they are quite short, and I'm hoping that I will just be able to get through these quite quickly. So once I've finished listening to my current audiobook, I think I'm just going to go back to trying to finish this series. I'm over halfway through the whole series now, so hopefully it won't be too long. The 4th series that I want to complete is Shades of Magic Trilogy by V.E. Schwab. I read the first book, A Darker Shade of Magic, a few months ago and I really enjoyed it. This was a series that I had been putting off for a long time. I'd heard other people's opinions about her writing, like my friends and family, and they didn't quite like her writing, and so I put it off because of their opinions. But then I just finally went with it and just thought, do you know what, I'm just gonna have a go and see how I feel. And I really enjoyed A Dark Shade of Magic, and I'm really excited to start Gathering of Shadows. It was such a fun fantasy series with parallel worlds, and it was so mysterious and entertaining. I can't wait to get back to the series, honestly. I don't know why I've waited so long between books. The next series on my list is His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman. So I did mention this in my 2020 goals video, that I wanted to complete this series. I read the first book, Northern Lights, which is also known as The Golden Compass, a few years ago. I don't really remember when. I think maybe 2018. But I'd owned those books since maybe 2010. Maybe longer than that. But because it's been so long since I read the first book, I don't really remember what happened. And I know this isn't a particularly cheerful series. My mum is always telling me, like, they just get sadder and sadder throughout the whole series. And I think that might have been what's been putting me off. I found the first book quite dense. Like, the writing style was quite difficult to get into. So that's also quite off-putting in itself. But I really want to find out what happens in the rest of the series. I've had these books so long now, and I just need to get through them, okay? And then the sixth and final series on this list is the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J Maas. I think there's quite a bit of controversy about this series, but I don't really remember what it is. So I read Throne of Glass back in 2015, I think, and I bought this book. I bought the second book, Crown of Midnight, before I'd finished reading Throne of Glass. But I had struggled reading Throne of Glass. I don't know if I was going through a reading slump then. I think I must have been. But I just remember really struggling with it, and that's been quite off-putting for me. So I'm thinking I might reread the first book and then go straight into this book and see if I just want to continue after that. So I definitely want to try to complete the second book, but if I read this book and don't like it, then I'm just not going to bother anymore. But I definitely want to get to the series again and see if I can enjoy it, because it has been so popular. And I feel like I did enjoy the story when I was reading it. Like, I liked having a female main character, and there was magic involved, and I don't really remember what it was. But there was this, like, strong female character who was, like, just physically strong. I don't know, like, a lot's changed in the past 5 years, and my opinions changed a lot in the last 5 years, and my understanding of fiction has changed a lot in the last 5 years, so I think it'll be interesting to look back at this book and just find out how I feel about it now. But I really have been putting this book off for quite a long time, and I feel like I just need to get to it soon. Maybe I'm going to start prioritising these series at the beginning of next year and see what I can do. So those are some of the book series that I want to complete soon. I hope you enjoyed this video. I have my GoodReads Instagram and Twitter down below if you want to check them out. If you'd like to comment, let me know what you think about any of these books, if you think they're worth finishing, if there's other series you think I'd enjoy reading that are similar to these series maybe, or just your favourite series. Let me know. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you again soon. Bye!